Hi there, I'm William Drescher. I'm a virtual set developer and creative director. Moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico about a year ago from New York City. Been doing virtual set development for a long time before even people knew it existed. Most recently, I was the art director and virtual set developer for ABC News. But I've worked for Tom Brokaw on NBC News. I worked with Dan Rather doing 3D animations many years ago at CBS TV News. These folks had plenty of money and really wanted to show what kind of technology they could do, and we were very involved in the development of virtual sets. So whether it was Peak Everest, which became VizRT, or now I work with Ross Expression, and now the Unreal Game Engine using Pixiotope and Zero Density. Chiron's got a virtual system, Avid's got a virtual system, everybody's got a virtual system. But the rooms that they use, they run between like 300,000 to $1 million a pop. That's for tracking cameras, really high-end keying systems. Of course, directors and producers who know how to use virtual sets, which in my experience was limited. But let me give you some ideas of things you might be able to do now with Zoom and Google Meet and Skype and FaceTime. I moved here to Albuquerque. I do work remotely for a lot of people, and instead of just being able to do a video camera where I'm just sitting against my space here in my room, I want to be able to show a little more about what a virtual set can do, even when I'm talking to people. So branding, pacing, having places to show video, having design elements that give you a sense of who you are and what your makeup is, rather than just throw a picture behind you in Zoom like you might do for this. So I want to talk quick two things. One, physical room, and then the other one, the actual technology I'm going to use to do this with. So physical rooms, really simple. It's a 12 by 12 bedroom with a 10-foot ceiling. I threw a green screen behind me, basically a piece of cloth I got from Amazon, draped it and tacked it to the wall. That's it. I went to Home Depot, spent a lot of money, bought 6 cone lights, put into them LED lights that I got through Amazon, which allowed me to color correct the light a little bit to get the green a little bit better green than you might get from the screen itself, and also light me a little bit. That's it. That's the room. With the technology that I'm using, there's a lot of options I could have done. I could have used those high-end systems. I could have gone with some lower-end systems, Manycam and Wirecast, which I like, and Mimeo TV is a great product I've done some development for. But I wanted to go with something inexpensive to see just how far I could push the limits. So this is OBS, usually made for guys who do gaming. They're showing themselves this thing called Twitch, but OBS is a lot more than that. OBS gives you all sorts of, by the way, open broadcast, has a whole community of people developing things like lower thirds that work out of HTML5, and NewTek's made an NDI system that allows me to incorporate all sorts of video sources, including webcams and my own, an old iPhone and a DSLR camera, an iPad that's sitting in the back. I could even track stuff with the, my old iPod. Ooh, it's green, cool. Didn't know it would disappear. My old iPhone 5. I got to think about that. Stick that in front of me and you don't even see it. That's cool. Anyway, I'll keep going because I'm such a geek. So, plug that back in. Now, so the OBS system gives me some flexibility to do some things that you couldn't do just normally in your Zoom system. So let me get away out of this shot for a moment to show you what I'm talking about. First off, I'm just going to dissolve myself in the background and talk about this set that I designed. This set is a virtual set designed in Cinema 4D, although it works in all the high-end systems, Viz, Ross Expression, Unreal Game, and yada, yada, yada. But knowing something about lighting and development, I wanted to give myself something that wasn't just so generic, so I built one that's more about where I'm living now, Albuquerque, Santa Fe. The palette's there. If you see behind me, there's a picture of Albuquerque downtown. That could be any photograph. That could be a live webcam. I could switch that to being a graphic element instead if I didn't want to do something that was more newsy in this sort of sense of what we used to call Durtran as a photograph. But let me keep going. There are 5 monitors in the set. One to my right, one to my left, one upper right, and one upper left. And when they're turned off, they don't go dark like your television set does. They stay glass. It gives this room a nice clean feeling. Now, I could put a desk in the foreground and stick myself behind the desk and tell you tonight's news, but 1985, I'm not going to do that anymore. So I'm going to come in a little closer to you to give you a sense of some other things I can do. Let's start by doing a slight move. I'm going to go to what's called a 3-shot. Now, I could put a head to my left and a head to my right and do a conference call in which we would all see each other, and if I knew that the way I have my room set up here, my monitor on the rest, if the monitor on one side was one person and the monitor on the other side was the other person, I could actually look at them back and forth and see what they're doing. But let's do something a little more interesting. First off, there is an opportunity to show you something that's live. So I'm going to fade in a little monitor. This is a live webcam of New York City. That's actually 42nd Street looking west. Is that right? Yes, looking west. The green on the bottom below is actually Bryant Park. This is a live webcam coming out of YouTube. It's just up all the time. I don't control what's on the camera. So if somebody zooms in on the camera or zooms out or pans right or pans left, this is just a live feed that comes out all the time. To give you a little bit of sense of what the quality is, I'm going to move in a little bit on it, zoom in a little bit closer. And you'll see there's the Hudson River in the distance with the highway to it. Looks like Madame Tussauds Gallery. That's 8th Avenue. Somebody's going to zoom in for me. That's very nice of them to do, but don't need to bother with that. So I could put something in there that's a live shot. I could put another person, another zoom, whatever you want. I could also do something a little closer to home. I'm going to fade this in, see if everybody's out there today. Well, that's out my window here in the backyard. That's a sock feeder I made for some finches. I'll let it sit for a minute because they sometimes come along and hang out at that tree, and that bird sock is kind of how I like to use it. But let me also show you the room I'm sitting in, what my setup looks like here, the one I'm actually talking to you on. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit further, and as I pull back, I'll light up this monitor to, I think it's this side, the right side monitor. And you'll see that's me sitting on my computer. There are 3 monitors and a laptop, and it's a live shot. So if I move my hand in front of my face, it's a little delay to it, but it's really just a live shot. I have to do the NDI, but I'm not talking to you through it. I could get it so it didn't delay, but for the moment it's totally fine. So to my right is a secondary output of this computer laptop. There's an iMac over here which I've turned off for the moment because it's old enough and I don't need to use it, but I could use it for After Effects compositing, or After Effects real-time compositing, or creating graphics into it, playing other animations, but I turned it off for the minute. The monitor that's to my left here, that one is a QC monitor, a resource monitor for the DCLR camera for this thing that's watching the birds, so I can see what's in there or not. So this is a great space for like a 3-shot. Got to my right, got to my left, maybe a graphic or 2. I can zoom into 2 cameras, that stuff. But it's probably not the best thing for presentations. So to do presentations, I did a side setup. So I'm going to fade myself over to there. I'm going to fade out and fade in. So here I am back now in this little side monitor position, position 5 I call it because it's the 5th of the glass monitors I can light up. Again, the monitor is clear. You see through to the stucco background. The shadows are being cast on the wall. I'm actually casting myself a very small shadow that allows me to interact with the background as well a little bit. If I want to bring something up, I can dissolve in a website. So this is williamdrescher.com, my website. That's a live feed right out of the browser. If I scrub to it, I can scrub around the page. I can actually go call up something specifically like, how about, here's a virtual set that was done at ABC News while I was there. Give you some ideas of pieces that are how you build a virtual set, how much flexibility that there is into it. If I click on it, I made a little animation of it so you could actually see that. I could bring that up full as well. So these were sets built in for VizRT and Ross Expression to be able to pipe video into them and do live pieces to it, some flexibility to that kind of stuff. I can come back out of it. I can go to something else like here's a redesign for ABC World News Tonight that was done while I was a freelance art director and the virtual set developer there. I'll let this play. You can hear the music too, by the way, and it's cleaned directly into the system. I can also move it a little closer to it so you can hear it and get myself out of the shot.
This is a special edition of ABC World News Tonight with David Muir. Reporting tonight from Washington,
and I can bring the
DC.
audio down a little bit if I want to, let it continue and talk about this graphic, that it was done in VizRT, using After Effects as well to match the look and the sort of magazine style look. I can also play with something else just to show you a different stand-up position. These are some logos that were designed for King Television back in 2000, 2004 while I was the design director there. And although I'm not mic'd for it, I can go to a different position and give you an idea of some things you could do just in a stand-up. So if I hit the move button and go back, and I stand back here now, I can step into this shot and interact with this monitor and this graphic as well, talk about King 5 Home Team Summer, talk about Sound of Orcas, talk about whatever's next on here, I forget, EV Magazine The Best, or the King 5 Investigators. All these things that we talk about, and I'm still in this little live space with a little bit of an angle to it. If I were to come sit back down in front of you, I might lose some of that illusion, but I could come forward and sit, which I'll do. And as I sit down, here I am back again in front of it, talking about regarding the Cisco or New Day Northwest. Now, I interact with that background a little bit because that monitor is right in front of my face. So as the monitor goes red, I go a little red. As the monitor turns into this blue, I turn a little bit blue. All these things are designed to make you feel like I'm in that space. So if it's something you'd be interested in talking about, I'm just going to go back to another spot. Let me kill this off for a moment. Go back to my home position again. We'll just fade to that spot. So if you're interested in talking about virtual sets, 3D motion graphics, or creative direction, I'd love to talk to you about it. Again, my name is William Drescher. Check me out at williamdrescher.com, and I hope to hear from you soon. Have a great night.